All righty. And you want to make sure Buddy's a little taller than
Oh,
you.
yeah,
So
yes.
you want to make sure. And then the only reason I say that is they're a little sensitive. So there you go. All right. So thank you, sir. We appreciate you taking the time. As we did with Mr. Mincy, you can take 3 to 5 minutes, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, what you've done professionally, what you've done politically in the past, and then we'll get into the questions.
Sure. Thank you very much. First of all, thanks to you and John for allowing me to be here tonight. Been watching the different episodes on the edition of Livingston Parish News, and I reached out to John and said, how do I get a chance to participate now? So thankfully, I'm here tonight. So thank you for that. Jason Amato from St. James Parish, running for state representative in District 81. It's Representative Clay Shexnada's district, East Bank of St. James Parish, a portion of Ascension Parish, and then everything southern Livingston Parish from Springfield all the way down to Marpole. Beautiful district. Tell everybody, between the residents, the rivers, and the roads, there's so many ways we're all connected. And my wife Nancy and I really enjoyed this last year on the campaign trail with everyone. So a little bit about me. With me tonight is my wife Nancy. We have 2 beautiful daughters. Our oldest daughter, Randy, married a wonderful young man from Livingston Parish, the town of Livingston, Wyatt Stewart. And 5 months ago, they blessed us with our first grandchild. And we really enjoy being grandparents. Our younger daughter, Rainey, is in her 3rd and final year at LSU Law School, so we're excited for her, too. It's going to be a great year for everyone. A little bit more about me from the Lutcher area. 23 years of elected public service in St. James Parish, 7 years as an alderman, and the last 16 as a parish councilman. In addition to that, I've been a volunteer fireman for 40 years, Lutcher Fire Chief for 10 plus years. And these last 4 years, I was appointed by Speaker Shexnada as a representative on the Louisiana Transportation Authority. Just recently, about a year ago, retired from Shell Geismar after 35 years. And in fact, with me here tonight is the gentleman that hired me 35 years ago, Mr. Gerald Rainey. Took this 21-year-old boy from Lutcher and took a chance on me and mentored me and really taught me how to be a leader that I am today. So I appreciate him being here today. People ask me all the time, like, Jason, how you like being in politics? And I'll tell them, during football season, when Lutcher's winning, LSU's winning, and Saints are winning, it's easy. Everybody's happy. But there's been a couple of years where they weren't winning. And boy, that's when I started getting calls about drainage, potholes, and stray dogs. The second answer is probably more real. There's a lot of satisfaction helping people, but there's a lot of frustration trying to help people because you heard others speak about it. Government is government. And for me, my 35 years at Shell's a great company to work for, have really prepared me through the years to allow me to have the success I've had. Shell's a great company to work for. I've been all around the world, been to a couple of Shell sites where their accents were worse than mine, but what it did was it helped me work with some really smart people, overcome any barriers that was there. But the skills they taught us around causal reasoning, solution development, continuous improvement, and all, to really get crystal clear on what is the problem, work with some smart people to identify a solution to the problem. And the biggest thing is implement that solution. Too often in government, you got a problem and it doesn't get solved. Tomorrow's a new day with a new problem. And because you didn't fix the problem from yesterday, you got a second problem, and it just compounds and all. And for me, especially in my history at St. James Parish, I've really been effective by utilizing those skills that I've learned through the years to really improve the quality of lives of the residents in St. James Parish in so many ways. But this campaign we've enjoyed all throughout District 81. I got to tell you, especially here in Livingston Parish, the political talent that we've been meeting and all is really phenomenal. I tell everybody this is a generational election. I'm a generational leader. And you look at it, from we're electing a governor, a number of other positions here in Livingston Parish, parish president, a number of council members and all. You're going to have 2 new senators, 4 new state representatives and all. So it's really an opportunity for me to take the skills and the success I had in St. James Parish, transfer that to Baton Rouge and work with the talent from Livingston Parish, the delegation and all, and to come. One of the things that Shell also taught me was servant leadership. My job is to go to Baton Rouge and make sure that, working with the Livingston Parish delegation, that we got the projects, the programs, and funding that the parish needs to be successful to improve the quality of lives for their residents. Because at the end of the day, their constituents are my constituents, and we really want to do well and help people improve the quality of lives and really be able to enjoy Livingston Parish and all the treasures that it has.
Okay, so jumping into it, you have a long history at Shell, which is private, and then you have a long history in the public sector. Let's start with Shell.
Sure.
And we'll honor the gentleman in the back here. So you have a lot of experience working at Shell. You discuss kind of three pillars of what they pushed with you. Can you bring those up again and then tell us why that would make you a good legislator? What did you learn from that?
Sure. So when you're talking causal reasoning, which helps you understand the root cause of an issue and all, solution development and then continuous improvement. And so what that helps me do is when you see a problem, I want to say sometimes I've been fortunate where I'm looking 2 steps ahead. Here's a perfect example. If you're in St. James Parish, we have 13 miles of interstate. And as a fire chief, we respond to accidents on the interstate. Probably 16 years ago, there was a article in the paper one day about St. Tammany Parish had just got approved for a pilot project for 6 miles of cable barriers on I-12. So I'm reading it, and I realized, wow, we need that too. And taking what I've learned from Shell, I built a project, reached out to St. Tammany, got their paperwork and how they were able to prove it, transferred it over to St. James Parish, a number of accidents. Unfortunately, we had a few fatalities and all. And we were the first parish along Interstate 10 corridor to have a 6-mile cable barrier installed. In that first year alone, there was 13 accidents. I like to think that were in the cable barriers that prevented crossover fatalities. If you're familiar with St. James Parish, that 13-mile stretch of interstate is pretty flat, so that risk was high for them. But it's that example there. It's we don't have zoning in St. James Parish, but I was part of the team that developed a land use plan. As we looked around, we looked at the growth of Ascension Parish, we looked at the growth in Livingston Parish and others elsewhere. We realized that if we didn't put something in place, in 10 years, we look back and realize we didn't lost control of development. You always want to have smart growth. You hear, I know Livingston Parish is talking about that now. How do you continue moving forward but have smart control growth? We did that in St. James Parish with our land use plan. In St. James Parish, there's 3 things that are composed of. We have residential areas, we have agriculture, sugarcane, Peru tobacco, and we also have industry. We are industry friendly. So we wanted to make sure all 3 of them can coexist so that people come to St. James Parish. It's a great place to live, grow, work, and play. And the land use plan has been very effective. It's an evergreen living document. Perfect example. Right now, I am authoring a solar farm ordinance. Up until 3 years ago, nobody talked about solar farms, and we had a developer come in and want to take out 4,500 acres of sugarcane and build a solar farm. We actually went to the state to say, if you look around, there's probably 9 other parishes grappling with solar farm development and all. And I passed a moratorium for 7 months, and we're in the process of, at our next council meeting, I'm introducing the solar farm ordinance to help us control the development of solar farms within St. James Parish. And really, my goal is once this ordinance is finalized, it'll be the gold standard where other parishes come to us and say, can we see your ordinance? We think that's a good blueprint for us to follow also. So pretty proud of that too. But again, that all comes from the skills I've learned at Shell.
So you're at Shell, but you also decide that there's this public service side that you want to pursue. Which place did it start, and why did you choose to run?
So grew up in a family of public servants, and in the Lutcher area and all, and like the other small towns and all, if you want something done, you roll up your sleeves and put on your boots and go get it done. Always wanted to have, always had the leadership skills, and I knew that there was opportunity coming up in Lutcher as an alderman, start off the ground level and help it. I tell everybody the funnest times I had as a public service probably was my first couple of years in Lutcher, because back then, if there was a problem, if you had a water leak, you jump in the hole with the workers, you fix the water leak, get out and go do something else and all. Unfortunately, at the parish level and even at the state level, I realized I can't be jumping in holes and helping fix water leaks, but you understand what public service is all about. So for me, it was early on seeing others get involved and make a difference in the community. And for me, that drive was always in me, and that was the opportunity from the bottom level to start understanding public service and government. And from there, it's been a gradual growth through the years. So for me, town level, parish level, definitely comfortable working at the state level through the Louisiana Transportation Authority and through a number of times just in session working with them, and then even going to Washington, D.C. I'm a history buff and I love Washington, D.C., but we've been to D.C. a number of times also, meeting with our senators and congressmen up there too. So it's all a gradual progression, but it's brought me to the point where now I'm ready to be the next state representative in District 81 to be effective from day one. We know next year how there's a number of issues that are facing the state. I've been to a number of forums, and I was telling everyone in the audience Sunday night, I was at a forum in Ascension Parish. I said, you probably can go to any forum around the state, and the same 4 things keep coming up. It's the insurance, it's roads and bridges, it's education, and it's crime. And I think we need to, you're hearing about the calls for special sessions on education, on crime, on the other ones, insurance. I think with my skills and all, I can go in, and some people said, well, you're a freshman representative. I don't feel I'm a freshman representative. I got the experience and knowledge to get in there and be effective from day one, providing input and guidance and leadership. In the absence of leadership, I'm not afraid to step in.
So you talked about why you got in, and you've talked about a couple of things that you learned. How is that going? How does that make you the right candidate, so to speak, for this House district?
Yeah. So if you look at this House district, a lot of commonalities. 3 parish councils, 3 sheriffs. Inside the District 81, there's a number of towns and villages and communities. And for me, I understand what it takes for an alderman in the town of Sorrento to be effective. The mayor, what they're trying to do. They're trying to improve the quality of lives in their town. I understand. I've been there, so I know what they need. Parish level, working as a parish councilman for 16 years, I've been through 3 parish presidents, partnered with all of them, and we've had a lot of success. So I understand the parish council in St. James, Ascension, and Livingston Parish, what they're attempting to do. And for me to go to Baton Rouge, my job, again, is to remove the barriers that prevents them from having this success. Because at the end of the day, I want them to be successful, because if they're successful, our constituents are successful, and that's a satisfaction for me.
What are some of the skills that you believe that you've developed as a firefighter? Because that's interesting. I had not heard you bring that up before. So that was kind of another arm of your public service. So what are some of the skills you learned from that? And how did you get involved?
Yes. So my dad was a long-time fire chief in Lutcher, and I can remember, I think I might have been 17 years old. There was a house fire one night, and he came in the room and said, "Let's go. We need help. You're old enough to fight fires." And from that point on, I always had a love for volunteer firemen. Now, it's pretty interesting. It's a great question, and actually being a fireman and all has really helped me mold my mindset around being a public servant. If you think about a fireman, when there's an issue, there's a fire, you respond. Now you got the full force of the fire department responding because the people need you, and put the fire out, and you go back to the station, make sure everything's ready, and it's sitting there ready to go. For the residents, they take relief knowing that in the event of another fire, you got a fire department come and help you again. As a public servant, I kind of feel that's the same way the government should be. When people need you, you go with the full force and help take care of the issue. When it's back out the way, always be ready, but you're not interfering. Sometimes you hear about government overreach, and for me, I don't believe in that. I think stand back to the side, let people enjoy their lives, go about their business, but when there's a need, you respond. And for me, that philosophy has really helped me move forward with that and go from there.
Excuse me. As you already discussed, your district encompasses parts of 3 parishes. There are similarities, there are differences. As someone from Livingston Parish, which is where you currently stand, and I mean someone isn't the eponymous someone, comes and asks you, well, you live in St. James. Ascension is huge because they have industry and lots of funding. And Livingston Parish is trying to figure some things out in terms of zoning and drainage and that kind of thing. We're going to get into the specific issues for Livingston Parish in a second, but when they ask you, how do I know that you'll represent me here in Livingston Parish, what do you tell them?
Yeah, great question. As I talked about earlier, between the residents, the rivers and roads, we're all connected. Livingston Parish has a threat of flood. We heard Representative Mincy and others talk about that now. St. James Parish every day, same thing. Back in 2016, we sandbagged for 5 days. Thankfully, we was able to save a lot of homes and all, but we part of the Blind River Basin, and the same threat that Livingston Parish lives under every day, we do too. Credit to Ascension Parish, they're probably ahead of us, all 3 parishes. They're probably the furthest along on flood protection with their pumps and levees, but we're working hard. I know Representative Mincy talked about the Amy River Basin Commission. I think now that they got an executive director, and I think Buddy and others, Clay and those have set them up for success. My position next year is to remove any barriers from them implementing it. They got to get to work quick and all. But going back to your question, yeah, it's so District 81, 52% of the district is Livingston Parish. It's a beautiful parish. We got a lot of friends and family here, and even through the campaign trail, met so many other people that, you know, no different than as a parish councilman in St. James Parish. Even though I was councilman in District 2, I never let that boundary stop me from improving the lives or addressing the issues that are affecting everyone else. Also, I think one of my strengths is I've been able to partner with people really well, and knowing, going back to what I said earlier, the talent in Livingston Parish, it just wants me to be a part of that to really help Livingston Parish continue to improve. And you can see by some of the things they're addressing, a lot of people love Livingston Parish and want to come to Livingston Parish. So I need to work with them to really help them come up with the solutions they need so that Livingston Parish is beautiful and it's a place where people want to come and live and work and grow, similar to St. James Parish and Ascension Parish. It's being able to multitask, but also understanding I recognize Livingston Parish has needs, and I'm ready to work with them. And I'll go back to your one other question we asked earlier about being a fire chief. Here's one other thing that I've done. I do. You know, people have asked me, hey, Jason, where's your office is going to be? And I said, it'll be in Livingston Parish, but my mindset as a fire chief is the same thing for my office. If there's a fire at nighttime or day, I'm going to that fire. I've always, as a parish councilman, and I'll do this as a state representative, I'm coming to you. You don't come to me. You got an issue? I'm coming to your kitchen table. I'm coming to your business. I'm coming to wherever the problem is. I meet you. You don't meet me. And I think that's part of that servant leadership that needs to be important to everybody.
So talking about individual issues, and just to give you an idea, there's about 13 minutes left. So individual issues, as you've already discussed, you brought up the Amy River Basin Commission, or ARBC. One of the things that sort of combines the 3 parishes is that some of the same water flows in and around all of them. As you look at Southern Livingston and some of the drainage issues they have, should you be elected, what would be one of the things that you would do to try to help?
Yes. So we know already there's plans to dredge the lower Amy, the lower Blind River area. That's going to help Livingston Parish. It also helps St. James Parish and probably the Santa Maria AC area in Ascension Parish. So that's important there. I think also it's really working with the Amy River Basin Commission. I think they're still trying to find their footing. And I think with the new executive director now, they're heading in the right direction. It's really helping them understand the urgency that they have to get moving. If they're not losing sleep at night over this, because I know I am, then they don't have the right priorities. And for me, it's to really work with the other members of our delegation to help them understand we got to get moving. Government moves slow, and I'm not a patient person, but my lack of patience requires me to really work and try to get ahead of the issue and help them solve the problems to get the solution implemented to get moving forward. We can't afford another flood. No, I know even like in St. James Parish, we sandbagged for 5 days, and here's the problem. All of us know when there's a situation like that, everybody comes together and we're doing it after the flood threat goes away. You got all these houses still got sandbags around them, and everybody's going back to their lives and all. And it got to the point where we had some residents tell me, "I'll never sandbag again, Jason. Let it flood." Wait, hold on. Come talk to people in Livingston Parish or Lower Ascension that flooded. Let me tell you how catastrophic that is. You don't want to do that. So for me, recognizing that, I said, something, we need to do something in St. James Parish. So I actually formed the East Bank Flood Protection Task Force, and it really was the first time we formed a committee to start addressing flood protection in St. James Parish. We struggle with backwater flooding from Blind River, and we are to the point now where the Corps of Engineers and Amy River Basin Commission and CPRA have recognized St. James Parish as a flood threat, and we have a flood protection levy close to, that doesn't impact the Blind River Basin, but is closer to the population of the East Bank of St. James Parish that'll help us with backwater flood protection. So pretty excited about that. I think we're hoping to see the engineering study completed next year, and from then on, it's how do we keep moving forward to remove that threat.
So and you already discussed some infrastructure things. You talked about a barrier, except water can pass through yours. Infrastructure is a big deal in all three parishes for a wide variety of reasons. As you know, you've talked about Speaker Scheck-Snyder and his appointing you to that task force or committee, excuse me. What, should you be elected, would you be looking to do in terms of, there's some interconnectivity issues between all three parishes as well. But when you're looking at roads, what are you looking to do should you be elected?
Yeah, the first thing is I'm going after that Highway 16 bridge. We got to get that contractor in place and get that construction moving forward. It's unacceptable what happened to that situation there with that bridge. So definitely a priority is to get the Highway 16 bridge. And then from there, it's really looking at the major road flow project that was done to see, okay, where are the next bottlenecks? We know we got a couple roundabouts scheduled both in Livingston Parish and in St. James Parish, and then from there, what's the next major roads that need to be addressed and all? But really, it's working with the parish council, Livingston Parish, say, okay, what are your priorities? And with the delegation, now let's go forward as a united group, and let's go ahead and tackle these problems, get the funding they need, get the projects in place to go ahead and move forward in a timely fashion.
That was quick.
Yes.
The sort of last pillar, like we talked about with Mr. Mincy, is public education. Good schools in your parish, good schools in Ascension, and good schools here in Livingston Parish. We can talk about the private side in a minute, but when you're talking about both funding and teacher retention, what is your experience with those, and what would you do in the legislature with those should you be elected?
Yeah, so I come from a large family. I have a younger sister who's a principal, elementary school principal, and a number of cousins and other family members, both teachers, administrators, coaches, and also I understand, they have a passion, and that passion is to teach our children, which is so important. We've been pretty blessed with our two daughters that have received excellent education and really able to pursue their dreams and all, but not everybody has that opportunity and all. So for me, we really need to, again, they're talking about a special session for education. Let's understand what's the barriers in place and really agree on the path moving forward. We should not be discussing education every year. It's time to put that to rest with a solution that fits always, ensuring that the proper funding is there to help set everybody up for success. I know I use that all the time, setting people up for success, but truly that's our job in a legislator to do that. So for me, it's really understanding why are we struggling with education every year. And I'm not a favor of the one-time bonuses. I think we need to raise the salary levels and all, because you can't count as a family. You can only count so much on a one-time bonus. How do you help them just have a sustainable living from here on out? Inflation eats into that one-time bonus. So, at the end of the day, did we do them any good? Where if we can do cost of living raises every year along with salary increases, let's go ahead and make that happen now. And for everybody, not from principals, teachers, administrators, everybody, the support workers that need to do that to ensure that our education system, it really should be one of the reasons people come to Louisiana, especially coming to District 81 between Livingston Parish, Ascension, and St. James. We have good school systems, but we need to continue working, continuous improvement, as I talked about. We need to continue improving the system to make it even better.
So you keep flying through these. You've got 6 minutes left.
Right.
One of the next things I want to discuss is, of course, we've talked about the, I guess you could say, individual issues that are kind of the three main pillars here in Livingston Parish. What is something for you that is important should you be elected heading to the legislature?
Something important to me, one, is I really want to be the state representative that everyone's proud of. Being able to go to work every day in Baton Rouge, helping address the issues that are there, coming back to Livingston Parish, Ascension, St. James with the solutions and the other actions that they need. And I want people to be proud that they voted for me and elected me to be the next state representative of District 81. Speaker Schecksenhauer has been the representative for the past 12 years, really since District 81 was formed. And also, I want to be the next one to take that next step toward good government, that people will call me when there's an issue and be that one call. I've had success because I had the relationships with, whether it's our state senators or Clay and others through the years, that when there's an issue, I can call them directly. I'm not going to their office. I'm not talking to their staff. I'm talking to them directly because time is the essence. Here's the issue. What do we need to do about it?
So, excuse me. Need to get a water here, but we got about 5 minutes. So getting into some of the things you talked about with regard to good government, one of the things that Representative Mincy brought up during his talk is tax reform. It's very much a trigger word in Baton Rouge these days. What is your knowledge of, the tax structure and what people are trying to reform, and what would you do to change it?
Yes, I think the biggest thing facing the next legislative in our session and all, we have that temporary tax. And, I thought this past year we missed a golden opportunity to take a gradual step in reducing the temporary tax, some to start weaning everybody off of that. And then also looking at how do we, with the surplus that we have, how do we be efficient with that to prepare us for the eventual elimination of the temporary sales tax that was put in place a couple of years ago in times were not as good. And also for me, taxes, anytime we can return money to families and businesses and all, they're better at spending that money than we are in Baton Rouge. So I think, being prudent with the tax dollars, but also looking at ways to make it easier. Just last Saturday, I was talking with Billy with French Settlement Roasting Company, outstanding company, still trying to get his feet on the ground and all. Delicious coffee, by the way. And I asked him, I said, man, what's some of the issues you have? And he said, man, the red tape and the issues around taxes and all is just, sometimes I don't know whether, I'm going to first base, second base, or home plate and all. And so for me, it's really helping also simplify that tax structure so the business and all can really concentrate on their products, serving their customers instead of spending time in the back office trying to delve into the different laws and rules around taxes. So we got to simplify it, and we also got to, I think, at some point try to figure out how do we give it back to the businesses and residents. It's their money.
So talking about money, currently there's quite a bit of the budget. Some of the numbers fluctuate. It's between 75 and 85% of it is constitutionally mandated. There has been lots of discussion about a constitutional convention to try to open up a lot of the budget. There are proponents and opponents. Which are you and why?
Yeah, so I'm a proponent. I think it's time to look into our Constitution. It's been a number of years and all. Just this election here, we got 4 amendments to the Constitution. It seems like every election we're adding more and more. So, going back to my Shell days with continuous improvement and all, I think we need to go back and look. So plan, do, check. So we've done the Constitution. We've added a number of amendments. We got the structure in place. Is it really working for us? I think most people would say it wasn't. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to go back, crack open that Constitution and really look at what's working well, what's effective, what doesn't make sense from back in 1974, and then even the number of amendments that we've added through the years. Does it really make sense to put that to the Constitution, or do we have laws already that help us prevent whatever activity or promote whatever activity it is the amendment's trying to do? So yeah, definitely in favor of visiting the Constitution and seeing how do we improve on it.
So you've got about a minute and a half left. You can say something, or I can ask you another question.
I'll say something.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
if you want to do closing remarks,
sure, yeah, definitely. So to the residents and the businesses of Livingston Parish, we really thank you for this last year that Nancy and I have been on the campaign trail. It's been a joy to meet everyone. We renewed friendships. We met so many new friends. People have been so hospitable to us and all, and you can see why Livingston Parish specifically is just a great place. People wanting to move in and all. We've enjoyed every restaurant. I think in District 81, after the election, I'll probably be going on a diet, but we've just enjoyed that. And then, meeting the parish council, the parish president, everybody. It's just been a joy, and we're thankful for that. 10 days from now is the election. Early voting is going on. I really urge people to go out and vote. You're hearing some of the numbers that they're saying it's going to be a low voter year. Again, this is a generational election. I'm a generational leader, and I really hope people elect me to be the next state representative in District 81 because I really would like to serve them in Baton Rouge.
Well, thank you, sir. If you'll let people know where they can find out more about you and how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. So definitely Facebook and Jason Amato, StateRep81.com. But my number, call me, 225-268-6902. As a fireman, I was on call 24 hours. As a parish councilman, I'm on call 24 hours. As your next state representative, I'll be on call 24 hours.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
And that'll wrap that up. We have Mr. John Wascom coming up. We're going to take another about 60-second break. Thank you.
Thank you.